I'm going to say what Seattle sports radio won't say. It's time for the Seahawks to see what they have in Sam Howell. I just got done reading this article from Stacey Roast of Seattle Sports Radio. Stacey says, it's not time to move on from Geno. She said, yes, the interceptions were ugly and people will be calling for Sam Howell this week, but is it warranted? In a word, yes. Geno single-handedly cost the Seahawks this game. And this is just a week removed from Geno having a lot to do with the loss to the Bills. And I think that that's part of what makes this so frustrating for me. I feel like every unit played better this week. The defense stepped up big time. They only allowed 13 points in regulation. The running game looked a lot better. Jackson Smith and Jigba had the best game of his career. Young career, but best game of his career. Special teams got a punt block when the Seahawks needed it most. They came up with a punt block and set the Hawks up. And Geno Smith single-handedly undermined the efforts of the defense and the special teams. Single-handedly, Geno Smith throws an interception that gets returned for 6 the other way. Now the Seahawks are down a touchdown. So even though the defense only allowed 13 points all day to that point, and granted, another 6 in overtime, but in regulation, they had only allowed 13. Geno gives them the points they need to get ahead. And then the special teams comes up with that huge play and sets the Seahawks up. Okay, we can get right back in it. Score a touchdown here. We make up for that. Cool. We at least got the scoreboard back to even. Right there, we had the chance to do it. Geno Smith throws another ugly red zone interception. And no, the offensive line isn't playing great. It's what I hear most around here. Everyone's very upset about the play of the offensive line, and I get that. There's been a lot of injuries up front, but Geno also holds the ball, and it's something that people just aren't recognizing for some reason. He's holding the ball. You can literally see when he's ready to pull the trigger, and then he takes another split second, and then that's when the sack happens. He gets so close to throwing it, and then he ends up taking a sack, or he ends up putting it in harm's way in this game. He's scared to make the interception, so then he ends up being overly cautious and takes a second longer, giving the defense time to make up ground, and then he throws the interception. And especially when the Seahawks are in the red zone, he's got to learn it's okay to take the sack sometimes. It's okay to throw the ball away sometimes, because when you got 3 in your back pocket, you got to keep those 3 there. You can't just give those away, and you especially can't give the other team an opportunity to take the ball back the other direction. I'm not saying that I think Sam Howell will do better, because the truth is I don't know. I don't know what we have in Sam Howell. I'm saying I don't think he can do much worse, and I'm saying I do know what we have in Geno Smith. He's not the franchise quarterback. He's not the future for the Seahawks. Sam Howell's actually younger than Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr., with a full year of NFL experience behind him. So there is a lot of upside to Sam Howell potentially. I think it's time to give him a chance. Which brings me to Stacey's next point in this article. She said that the Seahawks are still in the race for the NFC West. That's true. Geno Smith is 6-7 against the NFC West since 2022. I don't have a reason to believe that Geno is going to be the guy to pull the Seahawks up ahead of the 49ers, ahead of the Rams, ahead of the Cardinals. He's 6-7 against the division. I also want to hit on Stacey's last point from the article. She says the Seahawks are really missing that missed point after from the first half. She goes on to explain that, well, because with that point after, the final score would have been 21-20. It's not like you get to just take that point, stick it in your back pocket, and drop it in whenever you need it. You know, it's not like if he makes it, they go, okay, Mike, do you want to put that point on the board now, or do you want to throw it on later? Because if he makes that, and the rest of the game plays out the way it had already played out, and everything plays out the same all the way until the fourth quarter. So now it's 21-20, Seahawks are up with 23 seconds left. The Rams don't punt the ball back to the Seahawks in that situation. Now the Rams would be down a point, so now they'd go for it on fourth down. And maybe they get it, and then maybe they get a few more yards, and then they kick a field goal. Now the Rams win by 2. So maybe by that logic, that 1 point would actually hurt the Seahawks more than help them. Because actually the way it played out, the Seahawks did have an opportunity to win that game. They won the coin toss in overtime. They drove down the field. And on that drive, they only gave Geno 1 pass attempt. On that last set of downs, they ran the ball 4 straight times. They didn't give Geno anything. That doesn't tell me this coaching staff believes in Geno Smith. But even thinking with Stacey for a moment, okay, fine. You want to play the what-if game? Let's play the what-if game. What if the Seahawks make that extra point? Okay, well, I just explained that could have actually hurt us in some kind of way. But let's keep playing the what if game. Hey, what if we didn't throw 2 red zone interceptions? What if that happened? I'm not missing that point after nearly as much as I hate the 7 we gave to them on a pick 6 going the other way, or the combined 6-14 missing points from Seattle's side of the scoreboard because of Geno Smith interceptions on back-to-back drives. If we're going to play the what-if game, hey, what if those things went differently? The Rams would have been chasing the Seahawks in the second half. The Rams would have been on their heels, not the Seahawks on their heels. I don't come to this lightly. After all, in week 2, I made a video talking about how great Geno Smith was doing. And at that time, he was doing fantastic. But I'm also someone, I'm not, you can't vote for me on Tuesday. I'm not running for office. I'm going to choose to be honest instead of pretending to be right. And if I'm being honest, I think the Seahawks would have a better chance to win with a different quarterback. I hate calling for Geno Smith to get benched, but if I'm being honest, this season he's looking a lot more like the guy who played for Rex Ryan, a lot less like the guy who played for Pete Carroll. I'm Seattle Mike on the mic. I'll catch you guys next time. Please remember to like and subscribe, especially if you like Seattle sports. I do talk all other teams as well. Catch you guys next time. Later.